Radcliffe, Salvatore, Sheedy, Snow, Sutton, Underhill,
Here.
Williams,
Here.
Platoon, attention, hut!
All present, sir. Dismiss the men.
All right, you've got 30 minutes before chow. All out.
Boy, did you get a load of that sergeant throwing all those salutes? I bet he's a real apple polisher.
Yeah. He's gonna wear his arm out one of these days if he ain't careful.
That's all, Sergeant.
Underhill, Williams.
Get inside. Go to my room. I want to talk to you two. It's a good thing you've only been in the Army a short time, or I'd really chew you out. But one thing's for sure, I intend to get you two straightened out right now. Underhill, a minute ago you offered Williams a cigarette and lit it for him. Why?
Gee, I don't know, Sarge.
Maybe you were doing a little apple polishing, eh?
No, not me.
Well, then why?
Gee, I don't know. I guess I'm just used to it.
Well, I'm used to saluting. It's part of my duty as a soldier. Part of what's known as military courtesy. Like courtesy in civilian life. It's based on plain good manners and politeness. All right. You know in the Army. Maybe some of the forms of military courtesy do seem a little strange at first. After a while, they'll become as natural as holding a door open for somebody else or lighting another man's cigarette. Of all the forms of military courtesy, the salute is the most important. At first, you'll salute because you have to. Later, you'll salute because you want to. It's the soldier's way of saying hello. It's a sign of mutual respect between the officer and enlisted man. In case you don't know it, a man who's been court-martialed and sentenced as a prisoner loses the privilege of saluting. The salute is a privilege. So salute proudly, soldier. And forget that baloney about apple polishing.
I'm sorry, Sarge. I guess I had the wrong idea.
Yes, I did too. But Sergeant, I'm confused. I still don't understand when to salute.
Well, we've still got a few minutes before chow. Grab a chair and I'll fill you in. In general, you'll salute an officer anytime you're out of doors, as long as you're not in formation, not at work or at play. That applies to all officers, male and female, not only of the Army, but of other services and allied foreign nations as well. Here are some of the most important details about saluting. When approaching an officer, salute when you're far enough away so that he'll have time to return it. About 6 paces. You don't have to meet an officer head-on to salute him. As long as you pass within recognition distance, say 30 paces, salute. Even if you're not covered, wearing a hat, that is, you still salute if you're not actually at work. But remember, if you're double timing, slow down to normal cadence, at least 6 paces in front of the officer, and then salute. Always remember, military courtesy is based on plain good manners and politeness. When speaking with an officer, salute when meeting him. When the conversation is over, salute again. When you're in a group and an officer approaches, The first to see him calls attention, and all salute. Of course, if you're in formation, then it's a different story. The man in charge calls the group to attention and salutes for the entire group. Similarly, when marching in formation, the man in charge salutes for the group. Those are the most typical situations outdoors. And here are a couple of sidelights. Fairly often, when you meet an officer, you'll be holding something in your hand. Say a cigarette. Simply shift the cigarette or whatever it is to your left hand and salute as normal. If you're carrying a package, shift it to your left arm and then salute.
But supposing both arms are loaded, Sergeant?
Use common sense. Don't do like this soldier. No, not a chewing out, but an example of mutual respect between the officer and enlisted man. Now let's try it again, the right way. All you do is exchange a greeting with the officer.
Sergeant, is there any rule about saluting an officer who's in a car?
Well, if you pass a parked car with an officer inside, you salute. However, it's not necessary to salute a moving vehicle unless it displays a general's marker on the bumper.
Tell me, Sergeant, are you always supposed to say good afternoon, sir, or good morning, sir, every time you meet an officer?
That's right. Unless, of course, you just greeted him a short time ago. Just common sense, ordinary courtesy, and politeness again. Oh, yeah. One thing more. When you salute, do it right. There's nothing that labels you as a recruit quicker than sloppy saluting. There's no time like the present to learn. Now, this is the way it's done. When you salute, bring your arm up smart so that your forefinger is touching your forehead, above and slightly to the right of your right eye. The fingers and thumb are joined. The arm is straight from the elbow to the tips of the fingers. The elbow is at the same height as the shoulder and is slightly forward of the shoulder line. Not like this, but like this. Okay, suppose you try it. Remember, your arm is straight from elbow to fingertips. Your forefinger is above and slightly to the right of your right eye. Otherwise, you're okay. Relax, Williams. Relax. Don't droop. That's better. Now, to end the salute, bring your arm smartly to your side without slapping your pocket. And remember, no fancy flourishes as if you were chopping wood or waving goodbye to your girlfriend. Just bring your arm smartly to your side, like this. Okay, try it. Hut! Try it again. Hut! Good. You're doing all right. Let's see now. Where'd we leave off? Oh, yeah. When to salute. Well, we've already covered some typical situations when you salute outdoors. In general, when you're indoors, you don't salute. However, there are a few occasions when you do. The most important of these is when reporting to an officer. For example, when you're reporting to the company commander with a request to make. You remove your hat when you enter. Then you check with the first sergeant to find out if it's all right to go in and see the company commander. Before entering, you knock.
Come in.
You walk to within 2 paces of the company commander's desk and say,
Sir, Private Hall has the first sergeant's permission to speak to the company commander.
you hold the salute until the report is over and the salute is returned. Once your business is completed, you salute again. Do an about face and leave. Remembering, of course, to close the door behind you. Okay? That's the procedure when reporting to the company commander at your own request. Now, here's another example of reporting to the company commander. Only this time, you've been directed to report. Here's what you do. The procedure is the same as when you report at your own request, except for the words you use in the report. Come in. When you're directed to report to an officer, you say,
Sir, Private Taylor reports to the company commander as directed.
Now that's simple enough, isn't it? So far, we've talked about saluting when unarmed. But there are also occasions when you'll be carrying arms. And there are set ways of saluting on these occasions. The first rule of saluting when armed is, don't get panicky. There are 4 proper rifle salutes. First, the rifle salute at right shoulder arms. Second, the rifle salute at left shoulder arms. The third rifle salute is the one which is given while at trail arms. The fourth rifle salute is the salute at order arms. It is also used when reporting to an officer indoors. If you're on guard, a member of a color guard, standing retreat, or participating in other ceremonies, present arms is executed. But remember, present arms is not given as a salute, except on such special occasions. If an officer is approaching and you're at sling arms, a hand salute is given. Now that we've covered saluting, let's get on to some other aspects of military courtesy. For example, when you're participating in a game or sports, it's not necessary to salute. However, military courtesy does require that you come to attention when addressed by an officer. And of course, you always address him as sir. Similarly, when you're at work, you don't have to salute. But here, too, you come to attention when addressed by an officer. Here's another point. When you have occasion to walk with an officer, always walk on his left. The only time you don't come to attention when addressed by an officer is during the transaction of routine business. In the mess hall, if an officer enters, the first to see him calls, "Eddie!" You stop talking, but continue eating.
Carry on.
When the command "carry on" is given, you may talk again. If the officer speaks to you, remain seated at attention. And of course, stop eating. Military courtesy also applies when an officer enters a barracks.
Hey, what? At ease.
This quiets things down and enables the officer to carry out his business. This practice is simple common sense, and it's also a mark of respect. Like other military courtesies, it is carried out at all levels of command. So you see, military courtesy is equally binding on officers and enlisted men. And remember, that applies not only on a military post, but off it as well. When you're off post, you are required to salute. Saluting is encouraged whenever it's practical. Another mark of a good soldier is displaying proper courtesy to civilians. Soldiers who don't care how they behave in public won't stack up anywhere. Many civilians will have sons and daughters in the service. They'll expect courtesy from you. And you have the right to expect other servicemen to behave properly in front of your relatives and friends. And you'd be surprised. Very often, a little courtesy can go a long way. Well, that's the story in military courtesy. As you've seen, it's pretty much the same as the courtesy you practiced in civilian life. As I told you, at first some of the forms of military courtesy will seem strange. But you'll find out they make sense. So learn them, practice them, be proud of them. Okay, let's get some chow.